Some truths leave echoes. Others leave you standing in their stillness, unsure where to step next. But for Mau Mau, the next step was always forward. With the matter of her mother laid to rest, at least in her heart, Mau Mau returned to her post not as a girl burdened by the past, but as an apothecary whose hands had saved more lives than most would ever realize. The inner court was not quiet for long. A new unease had settled among the concubines. 3 ladies from different quarters began exhibiting the same symptoms: sudden fatigue, faint skin rashes, and aversion to sunlight. The physicians offered generic diagnoses, but when Mau Mau examined them, her brows furrowed. "This doesn't feel natural," she said quietly. Not a disease, not quite poisoning either. She returned to her herbal storeroom and began matching symptoms with rare environmental toxins, the sort that didn't enter through the mouth or blood, but through the skin over time. That night, she wandered the gardens surrounding the concubines' quarters. And there it was, a rare decorative vine from the southern provinces. Beautiful, pale green, fragrant at dusk, and covered in microscopic spore dust known to cause photosensitive reactions. "So subtle," Mau Mau murmured. "A perfect cover if someone wanted to make it look like illness, not interference." She clipped a few leaves and returned to her lab, testing the plant. Her theory proved correct. The spores latched to silk and skin, invisible to the eye but activated under sunlight. They weren't being attacked directly, she said. They were being surrounded. She sent a carefully worded report to the chief physician. No accusations, no names, only facts, only evidence. The next morning, the vine was removed quietly from the palace gardens. The concubines were given salves and proper care. The cause? Officially, a rare floral sensitivity. No scandal, no noise. Just resolution, and that was enough. Because Mau Mau didn't need praise. She didn't need her name written in any record. She just needed the people under her care to wake up stronger the next day. Now, as the years passed, the number of women in the palace grew. There were now 6 co-wives in the manor, each with their own set of ladies-in-waiting. A small army of silk-clad, lotus-scented gossips. At first, the rumors had been about Mau Mau. Whispers of her unusual methods, her solitary nature, her strange background. Then, slowly, inevitably, they'd started to turn into murmurs of awe. For every concubine who entered the manor and exited, cured, for every child born healthy under Mau Mau's care, for every case of mysterious illness, she diagnosed without complaint, no matter how lowly the servant or how high the consort. The stories grew. And with each whisper, a shield formed around Mau Mau, protecting her from the intrigues of the court. She'd never asked for this, but she would not waste it. One crisp autumn morning, a new patient arrived at her door, a young woman with wide eyes and even wider skirts. Her face was pale, her step shaky. She introduced herself as Lin Song, a concubine from the Emperor's new pleasure boat, the Azure Wake, and she had a terrible gash on her arm, deep and angry, weeping pus. "How did it happen?" "The Emperor cut me," she whispered, her voice cracking. "He meant to teach me a lesson." You see, the Emperor had taken a fancy to one of his new concubines and summoned Lin Song to his chambers for an intimate audience. But when he reached for her, she flinched, pushing him away. Enraged, the Emperor had drawn his sword, leaving a mark both physical and emotional. Now, afraid and alone, she had fled to the nearest apothecary, begging for help. "This is my only chance," Lin Song said, tears welling up. "Please save me, Lady Doctor." Mau Mau nodded, taking the woman's hand. She would not ask questions. She would not judge. All she saw was another soul in need of healing. As she cleaned the wound, a small smile touched her lips. The antidote to a broken heart, she murmured, was always a good offense.